A 16-year-old boy sitting quietly in seat 20, 3A notices something no one else does, a tiny detail that will save 300 lives before the plane even takes off. What he does next proves that heroes do not always stand up. Sometimes they stay perfectly still and pay attention. Before we dive in, what time are you listening? Where are you from? Drop a comment below and tell me. And please like and subscribe for more videos like this. Marcus Chen had always been the quiet kid. The one teachers forgot was in class until report cards came out with straight A marks. The one who sat in the back corner of the school cafeteria, earbuds in, watching everyone else live their loud, chaotic lives. His mom said he had an old soul. His older sister said he was just boring. Marcus did not really care either way. He liked observing. He liked noticing things other people missed. Today, Marcus was on his way to a national science competition in Denver. He had qualified by building a machine that could detect structural weaknesses in metal using sound frequencies. His project had something to do with preventing bridge collapses, but honestly, even he found it hard to explain without putting people to sleep. His parents could not come because of work, so Marcus was flying alone for the first time. He was nervous but also excited. This felt like the beginning of something new. The airport was packed. Families rushing, business people typing furiously on laptops, kids crying. Marcus moved through it all like a ghost, barely noticed exactly how he liked it. He boarded flight 742, found his window seat, and settled in with his backpack tucked under the seat in front of him. He pulled out his noise-canceling headphones, but did not turn on any music yet. He just watched. The plane filled slowly. A woman with 2 toddlers struggled down the aisle. An older man in a suit took the aisle seat in Marcus's row and immediately fell asleep. A flight attendant with a tired smile helped people shove bags into overhead compartments. Everything seemed normal. Boring even. Marcus liked boring. Boring was safe. But then he noticed something. It was small. So small that he almost dismissed it. The overhead compartment directly across the aisle, 3 rows ahead, was not closing properly. Every time someone walked past, it bounced slightly, like it wanted to pop open. The flight attendant had tried to shut it twice, but each time, it clicked and then sagged just a little. She seemed frustrated but eventually gave up and moved on to help someone else. Marcus watched that compartment. He could not stop watching it. There was a large black suitcase jammed inside at an odd angle. The way it sat made the door rest on the latch instead of locking past it. Physics, Marcus thought. Basic lever mechanics. If the plane hit any turbulence or made a sharp movement during takeoff, that case would shift, the door would pop, and 40 pounds of luggage would drop right onto whoever was sitting below. Currently, that was a young woman with a baby in her lap. The baby was maybe 6 months old, chewing on a stuffed giraffe. The woman was reading something on her phone, completely unaware. Marcus felt his chest tighten. He should say something. But to whom? The flight attendants were busy doing final checks. Everyone was sitting down now. The pilot's voice came over the intercom, welcoming them aboard and announcing an on-time departure. Marcus looked at the compartment again. Maybe he was wrong. Maybe it would be fine. But he kept staring at the way the latch sat. His brain could not turn off. He had built an entire project on finding weaknesses in structures. This was a weakness, a clear one. He pressed the call button above his seat. The ding sounded loud in the quiet cabin. A few people glanced at him. Marcus felt his face go hot. He hated being looked at. The same flight attendant from before appeared, her smile now more strained. She leaned down. "Yes, sweetheart, what do you need?" Marcus pointed across the aisle. "That overhead bin is not latched correctly. The suitcase inside is going to fall out." The flight attendant glanced at the bin. "It is closed, honey. See, it is fine." "No," Marcus said, his voice quiet but firm. "The latch is resting on the frame, not locked past it. If the plane tilts or accelerates too quickly, the case will shift forward and the door will open. It is physics." She gave him a patient smile, the kind adults give kids who think they know more than they do. "I appreciate your concern, but we have checked all the bins. Everything is secure. Now please sit back and get ready for takeoff. She walked away. Marcus felt stupid. His face burned hotter. The man next to him was still asleep. No one else had heard. He should just let it go. Mind his own business. That is what he always did. But he kept looking at that compartment. At the baby. At the angle of that suitcase. The plane started moving, backing away from the gate. The cabin lights dimmed slightly. People settled into their seats, putting phones on airplane mode, adjusting blankets. Marcus's heart was pounding now. He was not usually an anxious person, but something felt wrong, really wrong. He unbuckled his seatbelt and stood up. The man next to him woke with a snort. "Kid, sit down, we are taking off." Marcus ignored him. He stepped into the aisle just as the plane finished its turn and began taxiing toward the runway. A flight attendant at the front of the cabin saw him immediately. "Sir, you need to sit down right now." Marcus did not sit. He walked quickly toward the overhead bin, his legs shaky. People were staring now. The flight attendant was marching toward him, her face angry. "Young man, sit down immediately or we will have to return to the gate." Marcus reached the bin. He looked up at it, his hands trembling. He reached for the handle, but before he could touch it, the plane hit a bump, just a small one as it rolled over uneven pavement. The compartment door popped open. The black suitcase shifted forward, tipping. Marcus grabbed it with both hands, stopping it inches from falling. The cabin went silent. Everyone had seen it. The woman with the baby looked up, her eyes wide. The flight attendant froze mid-step. Marcus held the suitcase, his arms straining. It was heavier than he expected. Another flight attendant rushed over and helped him push it back into the compartment properly. This time, she repositioned it, laying it flat instead of at an angle. The door closed with a solid, final click. The latch locked. The first flight attendant stared at Marcus. Her face had gone pale. "I am so sorry. You were right. Thank you." Marcus nodded and walked back to his seat on shaky legs. His whole body felt like it was vibrating. People were whispering. The man next to him patted his shoulder. "Good eye, kid." The plane continued toward the runway. Marcus buckled his seatbelt with trembling fingers. He put his headphones on but still did not play any music. His mind was racing. But then as the engines powered up for takeoff, Marcus noticed something else. This time, it was not in the cabin. It was outside his window. A thin line of liquid trailing along the underside of the wing. At first, he thought it was water, condensation maybe. But it was not dripping like water. It was streaming steadily, a narrow, dark line against the white wing surface. Fuel. That was fuel. Marcus's stomach dropped. He stared at the line, watching it grow longer as the plane accelerated. His mind raced through possibilities. Fuel leaks were serious, catastrophic even. But was he overreacting again? He had already caused a scene once. What if he was wrong this time? What if he stopped the plane for nothing and 300 people hated him? But what if he was right? The engines roared louder. The plane picked up speed. Marcus could feel the acceleration pressing him back into his seat. He looked at the fuel line again. It was definitely getting worse. The stream was thicker now, vaporizing into a fine mist as it hit the wind. He jammed his finger into the call button and held it there. Once, twice, 3 times. The flight attendant who had helped him before came hurrying down the aisle, her expression concerned. "What is wrong?" Marcus pointed out the window. "There is fuel leaking from the wing, a lot of it." She bent down to look. Her face changed instantly. All the color drained from it. She did not argue. She did not question him. She ran toward the front of the plane. Seconds later, the engines cut. The roar died to a whine. The plane began to slow, coasting on momentum. The pilot's voice came over the intercom, calm but serious. "Ladies and gentlemen, we are aborting takeoff and returning to the gate. Please remain seated and calm." Confused murmurs filled the cabin. A few people groaned in frustration. Marcus sat frozen, staring at his hands. His mind was still trying to catch up with what had just happened. The plane crawled back to the gate. Emergency vehicles were already waiting, their lights flashing. As soon as the plane stopped, ground crew swarmed the wing. Passengers craned their necks to see what was happening. Marcus watched through the window as a technician in an orange vest inspected the underside of the wing, and then spoke urgently into a radio. 20 minutes later, the captain's voice returned. This time he sounded different. Shaken maybe. "Folks, I need to inform you that we have discovered a significant fuel leak in the left wing. Had we continued takeoff, this could have resulted in a catastrophic in-flight emergency. We are going to deplane and move everyone to a different aircraft. I also want to personally thank the young passenger who spotted this issue. You may have just saved every life on this plane." The cabin erupted. People were talking loudly now, some crying, some hugging each other. The woman with the baby was sobbing into her phone, telling someone what had almost happened. Flight attendants moved through the aisle with shaken faces, checking on passengers. Marcus sat perfectly still. He felt numb. He did not feel like a hero. He felt like he might throw up. The man next to him stuck out his hand. "What is your name, son?" "Marcus," he said quietly. "Well, Marcus, you have got guts. I have been flying for 30 years, and I have never seen anything like that. You just kept your head when everyone else was blind." People were turning in their seats, looking at him. A few started clapping. Then more joined. Soon the entire cabin was applauding. Marcus wanted to disappear. His face was burning again, but this time not from embarrassment. From something else. Something overwhelming. After they deplaned, airport security and airline officials pulled Marcus aside. They asked him questions, took notes, thanked him repeatedly. His hands would not stop shaking. They offered him anything he wanted. Upgrades, vouchers, free flights. Marcus just wanted to sit down somewhere quiet. His mom called while he was waiting in the terminal. The airline had contacted his parents. She was crying so hard she could barely speak. "Marcus, oh my baby, are you okay? Are you safe?" "I am fine, Mom. I promise. They said you saved the plane. They said if you had not noticed, the plane could have exploded in the air." Marcus closed his eyes. He had not let himself think that far. "I just saw something wrong. That is all." His dad got on the phone, his voice thick with emotion. "We are so proud of you, son. So incredibly proud." Later that evening, Marcus finally boarded a different plane to Denver. This time the crew knew who he was. The captain came back personally to shake his hand. They upgraded him to first class. Flight attendants kept checking on him, bringing him snacks and drinks he did not ask for. Other passengers whispered and pointed. A little girl asked for his autograph. Marcus hated all of it. But he also felt something stirring inside him, a realization. His quietness, his habit of observing, his obsession with noticing details. It was not boring. It was not a weakness. Today it had been the most important thing in the world. When he arrived in Denver, news crews were waiting. Apparently, the airline had issued a statement. The story was already going viral online. Teen saves flight. Boy prevents disaster. 16-year-old hero Marcus gave a short interview, stammering through answers, desperate to escape. He just wanted to compete in his science fair and go home. But over the next few days, something unexpected happened. Messages started pouring in. Emails, letters, social media posts from people all over the world. Parents thanking him for saving their children. A man who had been on the flight sent a video of his daughter's birthday party, saying Marcus was the reason she got to turn 7. The woman with the baby sent a photo of her son smiling, with a note that said simply, "Because of you." Marcus read every single one, and slowly, he started to understand. Being quiet did not mean being powerless. Paying attention mattered. Noticing what others missed could change everything. The science fair felt less important now, though he still competed and placed third. On the flight home, Marcus sat in his window seat and watched the sky. This time, he did not check the overhead bins or inspect the wings. He just breathed. He had spent his whole life feeling invisible, like he did not quite fit anywhere. But maybe that had been the point all along. Maybe the world needed people who sat quietly and saw what everyone else was too busy to notice. His mom picked him up at the airport, hugging him so tight he could barely breathe. "My quiet, brilliant boy," she whispered. Marcus smiled. For the first time in his life, he did not mind being noticed. So if you like this video, please like and subscribe for more videos like this.